What's up, world? What's up? What's happening? What's happening, Captain? It's Monday. Made it to the second day of the week, huh? I know you like, man, this it's the first day of the week. No, no, no. It's the second day of the week, and then the first is a Sunday. That's the first day of the week. But anyway, I was reminiscing today, man. I was reminiscing today. And I'm gonna get off topic a little bit of what I've been talking to y'all about. Y'all already know about preparation and all that, man. I'm gonna get on the topic of it ain't no cap, right? This ain't no cap, but us Generation X, I keep talking about it, right? Well, we had it made. We had it made. We took a lot of stuff for granted. Well, I know I did. I can't speak for y'all because some of y'all thinking y'all understood the struggle before y'all got lost. What do you mean by that, man? You understood when you was growing up what your parents had to go through, and if you was like me, you already believe that your parents are old school and we don't do it like that no more. And but at the end of the day, they was telling you the right thing to do. But we call that old fashioned, man. That's old fashioned, man. But I know Generation X. The reason I brought it up is because I know that y'all going through the same thing, some of the same things that I've grew to be accustomed to of raising children, and I'm talking about you know how they brought up right now versus how we was brought up. And it's a big difference. I'm talking about a big difference. Because if you're like me, then we had a good childhood. And I think we was more in church. Generation X, don't lie, don't lie. We was more in church, but we was misunderstood. And our parents kept giving us the way they wanted us to be, other than letting us grow. A lot of them letting us grow into our own and making the mistakes we had to make to become the people that we are now. I know this probably going over a lot of y'all heads, but what I'm saying is this generation is nothing like the last. No generation is the same. But I know our parents had a rough travel too, because they had to walk on rocks. The stories I was hearing, they didn't have no roads. They didn't have no roads. Um, but I know my generation, we had to go get it and come back with it. That was just a guaranteed. Everything was at our fingertips. In the simple fact, it wasn't easy to achieve these goals, but hard work, dedication. Some of us missed the memo. Some of us missed the memo, and then they still ain't about nothing. But we got we got something that is unreplaceable, unreplaceable, and that is time of thinking about our childhood and how we brought up, from our grandmas to our mama, getting into it with our grandmas, and the simple fact of not getting into it, but having a discussion about when they felt like we should have been punished and we wasn't punished, right? And the only thing they didn't say too much, but my mama, no fault of hers, but she was different around my grandma. Um, but we know when if we messed up at the grandma house, boy, when we got to the house, we gotta get some reckoning, right? So that's what we do know. But the generation now is, I think everybody's trying to be cool with their kids, buy them whatever they need as a child, right? Because how we was brought up, and you want to just do for your child to be able to say you didn't have to do without much. But what is that getting us? Not talking about particular my children, right? Who don't know a lot of things, but they think they know everything. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I done seen a lot of children don't know what to say when it's time to say the right words. They don't know how to be open because the social media got everybody being quiet but confused at the same time. Because why wouldn't you know, right? Why wouldn't you know what to do in certain situations? That's a question. Like, why wouldn't these kids ask us, what would you do at this in this particular moment, right? Situation awareness. And they don't ask enough. I think a lot of kids don't ask enough, and we used to ask everything because the pride of social media made them think, "Oh, you didn't know that? Well, you asked the most, we call them retarded question, but it ain't no retarded question. It ain't. The only reason I'm having I'm reminiscing is because as we know the world with us growing up, it ain't like that for them. They really are confused. A lot of these children are really confused, and then we got these clucks that's making them more confused. Now we didn't have too many. I didn't mess with it. And I didn't have to worry about it. People that's manipulators because they were scared to walk up to the Generation X. That sit back up under that shade tree and talk about um, shooting a, shooting the dozens, right, on each other. But we had it made growing up. We can ask questions. And then we learned you better not talk back when your parents are talking. We learned shit. I used to think my mama was badder than the cops. You know what I'm saying? Because she was that type of parent. Oh, my mama didn't play. I mean, y'all mamas didn't play, man. My mama didn't play, and it's nothing against her because that's how they was raised. But a lot of things that torture, right, that we went through, it wound up making us a better person. But then we turned around and, of course, we didn't want to do our to our kids. It kind of made them spoiled. You know the saying: you ruin a child and give them everything they want. That's gonna be a child that you wish you would have had them suffer a little bit. Because now they don't appreciate you as much as you appreciate your parents. Not all of them, but majority of them. And I ain't talking directly about my children. They can jump in the goddamn pot too. Uh, my thing is, if we give them everything they want, they ain't gonna know how to do without. They don't know. A lot of them don't know quick decision making. We call it common sense, but if you never gave them the the ability to think for themselves, a lot of parents think for their children, and then as they get older, they can't think at all. Ain't that a mess? That's a mess. That's a mess. So we look at the world. I'm looking at the world through my eyes, right? My eyes is telling me a lot of. I might as well say a lot of people are not gonna be able to. A lot of kids are not gonna be able to have the childhood like we had. Versus we give them everything. Now it doesn't matter when I say we give them everything. We gave them. We let me say I. I feel like I gave my children everything that I wanted my child to have versus my parents didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? They didn't do that. Now they gave me what they can afford, and they did not go out the way to give me that's gonna something that's gonna knock off their budget. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I was just reminiscing today, man. These kids are not prone to experience life because it's social media, and then when you get them in public, they just act out, right? And I said this before, that World Star, all them social media platforms, I remember with Facebook, I never had a Facebook because how it came out was Facebook was more just a gossip column. That's so popular. Somebody to me, I feel like those adults that haven't made bones in the streets or make bones in the world, they need Facebook to be relevant. And then a lot of people say, man, I got Facebook to keep up with the family. Now, you ain't got Facebook to keep up with the family. You got Facebook to be nosy because you ain't got no business. And then you are not social. I feel, this is my opinion, you're not social enough to have people calling you every day trying to find out what you want to do or what you doing. It's just more to the point of you trying to look at the world pass you by. Now, our kids see this. So how can we fault them for coming into an era of media, social media, where the news is lying to them, and these parents are lying to them, and their friends are lying to them? They in a bad place. If you think about it, they in a bad place. And we sit here passing judgment on the lack of understanding these youngsters are having. I pass it too. I'm accustomed to be. I'm at blame too. I be telling these youngsters, man, that looks different with your pants hanging down your butt cheek, and they don't see it because what they say, that's fashion, huh? That's fashion. No, that's. I feel like they're trying to mimic when we didn't have the right size clothes and we kind of bagged it up. But I think we had enough pride with we weren't showing our butt cheeks. And these women, they want to dress classy. You see them old videos, they wasn't all half butt naked and stuff like that, but they want to dress classy, looking elegant back in the day. It's just, man, you think about this world that we live in and the people who don't want to strive to become the best, they waiting on handouts. I guess it could be a saying that the world is a cycle. And please, I say please stop thinking that you're a trendsetter and you had Generation X in front of you. Now, some of the things that y'all youngsters are doing, I salute you. Making more money faster than a lot of us, but y'all going to jail and dying at a faster rate. And a lot of people say, Slugger man, it's two different generations. No, about four different generations. We just wasn't. Look, this is the difference with our generation. School shootings wasn't heard of. That's the difference. The biggest difference. School shootings wasn't heard of. Karens wasn't heard of. Because they get in our business. Guess what we did? We checked it right at the door. That's a difference. But I didn't want to be on loan, man. I just want to share that and get an understanding, man. We had a good generation. And it's so crazy because you can't buy that time back and the decisions that we made in our life. It ain't a reverse. Maybe in the next life, if there's such a thing, some people get their act together. But how I feel is if you're an old guy and an old female, and say for instance you in your 40s, you part of my generation. You part of my generation. So we can't give up on the youth because I believe the youth really gave up on a lot of them gave up on themselves and they feel like the easiest thing to do is act a damn fool for attention. All that is attention. I don't care. And if you got an older guy who's sitting out there with these youngsters and trying to push something, say, man, you'll find out. How's that working? And then I know for a fact, I stay out the way, but in the way. Because Back when we was young, we can go time. What's time? We thought we had all the time in the world. But you can see some people are just cycled to be nobody. Some people are cycled to be nobody in their life, and it's a disappointment to their family, but you think they care. It's all about them, right? And I just wish on a Monday, everybody have a good week, better they self, better they life, and stop the bullshit. No, 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 for real. You're not cool acting a goddamn fool at your age. Let these youngsters and you inspire them to do better. I know that's a boring conversation, and people be saying, "Man, that dude be trying to preach." Now it's better than acting like a cluck. And if you ain't talking like me or better, you a cluck. You one of the problems. If you don't seem like you can get it together, and you ain't got to show these youngsters, they can tell by your conversation and your walk and your surroundings. When you get on YouTube, if everything is about, I wish, and I say this all the time, I wish that y'all really knew me. But my struggle has not been easy. It's been complicated, man. And but I made it because my determination not to be a failure. Some people in elementary, everybody start off with their class, right? When they start going to school, junior high, you got a certain peer group and all that. But it's a lot of people left behind. Why is that? Because they can't get it. They're not gonna get it. They kind of living in the world of delusions, or say for instance, you haven't caught on yet. What I tell y'all, what I say the other day, gangster is taking care of your family and making sure they got everything they need for this free world that would definitely knock them off track because their parents ain't backing them. And then if your children get off track, it's not easy getting them back on, but God damn it, you need to try. You shouldn't cut your children off because they're not agreeing with you. Life is gonna teach them they should have listened. Like life taught us we should have listened when we was coming up. But they gotta go through things. They gotta go through hardship. And the only reason I'm saying this, you can't spoil your child, spoil the ride when they're younger, thinking them cute dances of them being managed is something that you're gonna be proud of later on in life. Because once they just start, for the females, once they start dropping it like it's hot at an early age, what you think that mindset is? If they get attention for dropping it like it's hot, that's what they going to 9 times out of 10 they gonna do. When you at the wrong time, straight up embarrassing for the knuckleheads. If you don't tell them to pull up their pants and they come to a family function, and then you trying to introduce your child and people in the family haven't seen, and they coming like a, I don't know, what is that called? That's not thugging, right? Immature. At a certain age, it's not okay, but you could be a little bit light on them when they're young, right? As they start getting into junior high, high school, you got to start correcting that as a man. But if you ain't spending no time because you working 9 to 5s and you tired as hell and you still trying to live your life, look, when you had children, and this is my concept, my understanding, you start living for them, right? I hate to feel like, I think somebody need to hear this. I don't know who it is for, but then sometimes I tell myself, why did I get that thought? And my mind was on something else. Why? Hey man, all I can say, bro, it's a fast world, and y'all youngsters, and I know it's like to no kids, and that's crazy. I don't know really what is a kid on YouTube. Somebody that can troll. Somebody can troll you. Control you, meaning jumping on your page, talking that old funny stuff, right? I know that's a child, but how did these kids get on grown folks that channel says no kids? They want our children to listen to anybody and everybody. That's how I get it. So if you're raising a child, just Pay attention to them. Spend time. If it's a guy or a female, get them in some kind of athletics. Let them have less time being on social media out your way, but they gonna wind up being in your way later on in life. Until the next time, this is my Monday drop, man. Salute.